people are going to get in touch with your inner Steve Norton and release the Steve, and I'm so excited to see what that looks like. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start right now with a man who is so fired up to release his Steve, he can barely contain himself. You know him, you love him, you probably bought his album, Mr. Gil McKinney! Put your tiny hand in mine. I will be your preacher, teacher, anything you have in mind. I will be your father figure. I have had enough of crime. I will be the one who loves you till the end of time. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Gil McKinney was backstage. He was wearing long pants. And he heard me talk about release your inner Steve, and he cut those pants into those shorts.
Yeah.
That's an example of release your Steve.
This is actually a first. First time ever wearing shorts at a convention. I think it was a good choice.
You guys had a visceral reaction to Steve's calves, I saw you.
These are jorts.
I get it, I had the same.
To Steve's calves or Gil's calves?
Huh? Oh, Gil's calves.
No,
You said
Gil's
Steve's.
Well,
We're all the same to
Steve.
you. We're all the same to you. It's cool.
That's not only advice for Steve.
I thought I was going to be the only one wearing this shirt. That's what you guys told me, right?
We talked about this. We said that we would all of us would wear them
At the same time?
Yeah.
I must have not been listening to you.
It's a great shirt. I'm so glad that I'm wearing it.
You're not in sales, are you?
No, it is a great shirt. My wife was like, "What is that?" I was like, "It's Borja. Borja Aloha."
And she said, who's Borja?
And she said, "Who's Borja?" I was like, that guy. She was like, "Oh yeah, that guy."
Oh, the robot bass player. Oh, now I get it. Ladies and gentlemen, Gil McKinney.
Oh, you're leaving me.
Yep.
You're leaving me. Borja. Love you, dude. Aloha. Wow. So yeah, so I'm wearing shorts. They're actually jorts. I actually did not cut them. They came this way. I bought them this way. If you can believe it. Wow, is this just a really laid-back Hawaii crowd today? Or are you guys kind of raucous? I'm not sure. It's Friday. As soon as I said that, I was like, in my head, I thought, is it Friday? I don't even know. It's Friday, right? Friday people are the best people. I see a lot of familiar faces. I love you too. Hey, how's it going? Anybody never been to a convention before? Wow, well you picked a good one. Who here's from Australia or New Zealand? Very cool. Anybody from Japan? You're so quiet and polite. Hi here. Well, welcome. Glad you're all here. This is going to be a really fun weekend. This is my second time in Hawaii. I came like 6 years ago with my wife for a friend's wedding. And but this is my first time in Honolulu. This is a really cool city. I'm excited to be here. Excited to do some music here. We have karaoke tonight. Karaoke in Hawaii's got to be great, right? I mean, we did a pretty fantastic one in New Orleans a few weeks ago, but I think karaoke in Hawaii is going to be special. And then tomorrow night, I hear we're doing a concert outside. I hope that's right, because that's just what it is. Is that correct? Okay, good. And I also heard that it's on this lawn where Elvis performed. I'm a huge Elvis fan, so I think that's pretty cool. So if you can come tomorrow night, please do. It's going to be a night of great music, and I'm so excited to get to do a song that I wrote that's on my EP. One last time. I think this is going to be it for a while anyway, and then I'm going to work on some new music for you guys. So, who here has my EP? Thank you. Who here backed the Kickstarter? A lot of people. For those of you that don't know, back in, I think, February, Jason Mans and I launched a Kickstarter to produce an EP, and you guys backed it, and I'll be forever grateful. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you guys. And so then, yeah, several months later, we released the EP, and it shot to the top of the charts. which was just a really, I mean, like I'm not joking, it literally shot to the top of the charts, which was such a cool surprise. I wasn't expecting that, and it showed me once again like the power of this fandom. Like you guys like make the most amazing things happen. And you've made a lot of amazing things happen for me, so thank you very much. I mean, it was the #1 jazz album on iTunes for 2 days straight. It wasn't really my intention to put out a jazz album. It's jazzy, but Jason is smart enough that he put it in the jazz category instead of the pop category. That way I could be #1. I didn't have to compete against Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift. I just had to compete against Norah Jones and Patti LaBelle. But yeah, there was one chart that came out, I made it onto the Billboard charts as well, and there was one jazz chart in Billboard magazine that had me in between. I think Norah Jones was 3, I was 4, and Patti LaBelle was 5, so that was pretty cool. Yeah, and it hung on there for about a day and a half. Still counts. Still counts. And you know what else counts? It made it into the top 100 albums of all time for like a few hours one afternoon. It was in between Queen Greatest Hits and Guns N' Roses Greatest Hits. So that was pretty cool. I did a screenshot of that one. I'm probably gonna hang it on the wall in my bathroom. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. And it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you guys. So if you don't have the EP, I brought some with me, and I'll have them later on this weekend at some point. I'll let you guys know, and I'd love to sign one for you. So anyway, do we have any questions? We got one beautiful person over here. This is great.
I have a lot of questions.
You got a lot of questions? Well, apparently you're the only one here. So, hi, what's your name?
My name is Celeste.
Celeste.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We all know you're a very talented actor and singer. I was
Thank
wondering
you.
what, from your perspective, is your most useless talent?
Useless talent? Wow. Most useless talent. Man, that's tough. I can like roll my stomach. Turn your cameras off. Haven't done that in a long time. It stays in the room, right guys? Cool. You guys heard the rules and regulations, right? Thanks so much, Celeste. Anything else? She's like, no, I'm good. That's pretty much it.
What character would you most and least like to meet from Supernatural?
Character or actor?
Character.
I like to make it more personal, talk about the actors. What I most and least like to meet, probably least like to meet Lucifer. Probably most like to meet Dean. Yeah, no, Dean's cool. I like that character. I think it'd be cool. I mean, I did get to meet Dean, really. So, you know, I did. I got to meet Dean and Sam, and I got to hang out with them. And even though we didn't really get along that well, I still think there's hope. I'm hoping at some point we can get along and have another adventure together. But yeah, Jared and Jensen were so fun to get to work with, and those are 2 great characters. But yeah, Dean's cool. I like his car. I was unaware that apparently breaking the window is not a good thing to do. There's a lot that I learned about this show after working on it. Or like as I was working on it. I had no idea about you guys until toward the end of shooting my first episode. And then Jared and Jensen pulled me aside and filled me in. But I still didn't believe it. I didn't really understand. But Jensen was like, hey, if they call, they ask you to go do a convention, you go, all right? was like, they're not gonna ask me to do a convention, man. I haven't even shot my first. He's like, doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. You're Winchester. And then he was like, all right, let's shoot this scene. And then I walked out, he tripped me. It's like, oh man, got me again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Celeste. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, what's your name?
Abby.
Abby, nice to meet you.
You too. What is something on your bucket list that you haven't gotten to do yet?
Bucket list. I don't really think too much about bucket list. I mean, but definitely a couple places that I would love to travel to. One is Japan. I would love to go to Japan. I'd love to go to Tokyo. I just have this like weird like fantasy of me like actually being there by myself and like being totally lost in translation and ending up in some like, you know, just awesome like karaoke sushi joint like downtown Tokyo. Just like partying and having so much fun. Another place it's definitely on my list, top of my list to visit is Ireland. Everyone that's been there says it's the most amazing place to travel to. So yeah, I'd love to visit Ireland. And yeah, those are two things. I love to travel. So most of my bucket list stuff is travel. I want to see as much of the world as I can. And honestly, before getting to be on Supernatural and getting to do these conventions, I had not seen much of the world. This whole thing like just really opened up my world for me. It was really cool. I mean, I've gotten to go to so many places because of Supernatural. I never in my wildest dreams thought that would happen from doing a guest star on Supernatural. It's really cool. I mean, I've got to go to England a couple times and Australia a couple times, and I've been to Italy a couple times. Yeah, Germany twice. I mean, yeah. I went to Spain for a Once Upon a Time convention this year. That was cool. I mean, I've gotten to see a lot of the world that as an actor, sometimes I think I'm over this at this point in my career, but as a young actor, when you're in Hollywood, you're kind of, I mean, not everybody's like this, but I was kind of afraid to leave, because you're always afraid you're going to leave, and that's when you're going to miss your opportunity. You know, there's kind of, a lot of actors, I think, fall into that, where they're scared to, like, travel or leave town, because that might be the week that audition comes that could change their lives, you know, but you kind of just got to go and see the world. So this has been really cool, and here we are in Hawaii. So what a special place to be. Thank you, Abby.
Thank you.
Hey, Gil. Okay, so my question is, what have you done that's been fun here in Hawaii? Where would you recommend somebody go to while we're here in Hawaii? And I second you in Ireland. We need a con there.
Yeah, we do need a con in Ireland. I like your shirt. Thanks for wearing that.
Thank you.
Wow. You know, I haven't spent enough time here this trip. I mean, we literally got here yesterday afternoon, and I've got my wife and my 14-month-old daughter with me. And yeah, so they're going to be here at some point this weekend. I'll bring them over. But yeah, you know, like, it's hard traveling with a kid. It's a 6-hour flight from LA, which is, she's done those before. She's actually been on like 20 flights already this year, which is insane. But 6 hours is really kind of the max. And we've done New York to LA a couple times with her. But we got here, and, you know, we were so excited to be in Hawaii. And we get to the hotel, we're so excited to be in Honolulu, and you want to, like, go to the beach and, like, have a beer and relax and enjoy it. Just, with a 14-month-old after flying all day, forget about it. It was just ridiculous. We're trying to have, like, shrimp cocktail and a beer, and she's just, like, grabbing fistful of shrimp and just dunking them in the cocktail sauce, just rubbing it all over herself. And yeah, I'm like, my wife's getting upset, and I'm like, babe, we're in Hawaii. This is how they do it here, okay? Just it'll be fine. So anyway, we didn't. I ended up relieving my wife, and I took Vivi to the room last night and bathed the cocktail sauce out of her and put her to bed, and then I went to sleep. So I didn't do much yet this trip, but I don't know if I have any recommendations. I mean, there's so much to see and do here. just going to the beach, smelling the flowers. I love the smell of plumeria that's in the air. When I was here 5, 6 years ago, I just remember being like so sad to leave, and I'd never really felt that way leaving a place before. So, yeah, I don't know. Get out of here when you have time and go explore. Maybe.
I'm going horseback riding Monday, so that's
amazing.
On the beach.
Where are you doing that?
It's a polo horseback riding. I don't know. I have to.
That's all right. Let me know. I mean, if there's room for one more, I'll just hop on the back.
Monday sunset ride. So yeah, you're
Cool. That sounds fun.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
Hi. I just wanted to ask, when you first did the album with everyone else from the cast, did you think it would lead to your own album? Did you have any sort of aspirations of that happening?
When I did the first Jason's Friends album?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Jason and I had talked about it. I don't know that doing the Friends album was like, I mean, I guess in a way it was a catalyst to me doing my own album, but it's something that I, you know, thought about and for a long time, but just never. I needed like that extra push, you know, and I needed that extra push and that extra confidence to do it, you know. And Jason helped me with that. I don't know. I mean, you guys are always so generous with everything that goes along with these conventions that I didn't know that initially that I really wanted to do a Kickstarter, you know, and ask for more from you because you guys give so much and. But then I would go to conventions and so many of you would say, just do it, we'll back it, just do it, we want you to make some music. So I finally, you know, went to Jason and said, let's do it, let's go ahead and launch this thing. And it was funded within like 12 hours. And then you guys went above and beyond, so we were able to spend more time and hire more musicians, and I'm really, really proud of it. I think it turned out really great. And but yeah, I think for Jason, you know, when I did Jason's first Friends album, he and I were still kind of getting to know each other, and that was our first time working together in the studio together. So I think maybe that was you know, it was a good you know, experience of how it would be to go into the studio together and do more. So, and I hadn't, you know, before being on the Friends album, I had not spent a lot of time singing in the studio. Honestly, I performed live a lot, but being in the studio and recording is a very different thing. So it was a learning experience for me, but it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. You know, like there's some songs on the EP that are like one take from start to finish, and then there's some songs that are like, you know, very edited or like little pieces from different takes, if that makes sense. Like getting to watch the guy, you know, mix it and edit it was really cool. And I mean, there were times he would pick like one word or one phrase from one take and put it into another take, and just to make it like perfect, you know. So that was fun. That was fun to get to be a part of that.
I have to let you know, so I usually just play my iPod when I'm at work, and I work in a hospital, and when people I work with like the music that I'm playing, they want to know what it is and where they can get it. So about 6 people have either your album or the Friends album, but have no clue about the show.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, thank you. Thanks for telling me that. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, the show it's crazy, like how the power of the show and of the fandom to do so many other things outside of the show. I mean, I try to explain to people like what goes on here and why I get to go to all these cool places and do these weekenders, and most of my friends, they don't really get it, you know, they don't. And I didn't get it before. I didn't really understand it before, but it's okay. It kind of makes it more special that they don't understand. But I tell them too sometimes, like, you know, I'm here because I was lucky enough to get to be on the show. But then once you start doing the conventions and you start doing more and more conventions, it kind of takes on a life of its own and becomes something like, in a way, that's separate from the show. At least for me, you know, it's like I don't know. I start to I feel like some people know me. They know me more from the conventions than from the show. I mean, I did 2 episodes, you know, so that was why I got to be here. But I feel like because I show up and I have fun and I get along with the other guys and girls and I enjoy you guys so much. It's just, and I got the music thing going. It's turned into something that's really just been like one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. Which side was I on? Am I coming to you?
I think so.
Hey.
Hi. I was wondering, since you have a little two-year-old girl, if there are any stories you could share.
Any stories?
Yeah.
Well, she's not quite 2 yet. I'm not trying to fast forward to that too quickly. She's like 14 and a half months. I don't know, she's just so cute. I mean, she's so adorable. Sometimes in the morning, I just don't want to get up, or I'm tired or whatever. But then like to get up and like see her face is just like the greatest thing ever, you know, and like to see her like, you know, look up in her crib and smile at you and laugh at, you know, 4:45 in the morning this morning. I was like, please, no. It's way too early. And she's like, it's 6:45 on my system, Dad. Time to get up. Yeah, she's just, I don't know, she's just the cutest little thing, and we're just so in love with her. Her name is Vivian James, after my dad. And yeah, I'll try to bring her around at some point this weekend. At some point, I don't know, I don't know if I'll bring her on stage, but I would like for her to see this sometimes, just to see the expression on her face. She would probably just smile. Every day is like a new experience with her, though, you know, and thank God I have an amazing wife to share it with. There's so many experiences. I mean, every day there's something new, good and bad, and I have so much respect for single parents. Anybody that does it on their own, I don't know how you do it. I'm so lucky to have a wife to lean on, and we can get through it together. And we think we want to have another one, but then sometimes we're like, I don't know. This one's pretty good. One's pretty good, and then we see our friends that have two, and we're like, nah, that's insane. I met a woman at a convention a few weeks ago that told me she had 9 kids, 7 girls and 2 boys. I was like, how are you alive? How? How is that possible that you can still be standing? Anyway, thank you. Hey.
Hey, I was wondering, what was it like from your first time in the studio recording to your last one when you were recording your EP?
Well, the first time on Jason's Friends album, obviously I wasn't there as long. It was a shorter thing. I was just there for, I don't know, a couple hours, and I found the song to be kind of challenging. Jason had picked it, and I thought actually he gave me a few options, and we got in the studio, and we ended up going with Higher and Higher, and I found it to be kind of challenging to sing, quite honestly. I thought, I don't know that I could sing that song live. It's a tough one to do live, but in the studio we were able to like put it together. And I was in my car the other day. I have an old convertible. It's the only CD player I have anymore, and they're kind of becoming obsolete. But I've got an old convertible with a CD player in it, and it's funny. I've got like Jason's albums and all the Swain albums, and like now my album, like. And I popped in the Friends album, and I'm really, I think it's actually really good. When I first heard it, I was like not that crazy about it. I'm talking about my song on Jason's Friends album, but now when I go back and listen to it now, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's weird how that happens. And then as far as recording the EP, I mean, it was a good, you know, a solid like probably 5 long days in the studio. I'd never sung so much, you know, like that. It could be pretty taxing. You have to like, you know, learn how to pace yourself. And we started, I think, with 10 songs, and we ended up with 7 on the EP, which Jason's like, that's perfect for an EP, you know. There's 5 covers and 2 originals, one that I wrote and one that Jason co-wrote, and so 7 songs on the EP. But yeah, it was an experience. I mean, there was one song in particular that I hope to try to do again one day. I thought it was going to be like awesome, and it didn't come together for me in the studio. And then there's another song that's on the EP that I kind of was scared to sing. I didn't think that I could sing it, and it's a lot of people's favorite, and my wife's favorite song on the EP. It's the one that Jason wrote, which is a little weird. I'm like, babe, what do you think? What's your favorite song? She's like, definitely Jason's. It's like, cool. You know, I wrote one on there too, right? That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Jason's is nice. Yeah, anyway, 17 is the name of the song, and I was kind of, I don't know, it's a challenging song to sing, but it came together really good, and I'm proud of it. But working in the studio is hard because it's like singing under a microscope, you know, and you know, you do a couple takes and you go listen to it, and sometimes as a singer, if any of you are singers, you'll probably know this. Like sometimes as a singer, like the way you hear things in your head isn't the way someone else necessarily hears it. So that's something I've had to work on. And I mean, there's times I'd be in there and I'd think that I'd really knocked one out, and then we'd go out and listen to it. And it's like, oh yeah, we need to make some adjustments. So yeah, it's a tedious process recording in the studio, but a lot of fun too. I like the challenge of it, and yeah, very happy with the way it turned out. And Jason's a great producer. Like, I mean, he was nice having somebody who was a friend and also a singer, and an extremely talented musician to help kind of like take me through the process. So that was cool. Thank you. Hey.
Hi. I was wondering if you were ever to be brought back onto this show, would you want to come back as a specific creature or yourself?
Oh, well, I would definitely want to come back as Henry. Absolutely. And I hope that it happens. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to give up hope. But it's been a few seasons now, so we'll see. Yeah. I hear there's an alternative universe, so I mean, look, we all know anything's possible on this show. I hope it happens at some point. You know, a few years ago, some producers told me that it would happen eventually, but you just never know. Like literally, they could call next week and I'd be on a plane. You know what I mean? It's like these things that we're the last ones to really kind of know what's being discussed or what's going on. So I hope it can happen. I'll never forget reading the script to my first episode and then getting to the end and being like, oh man. So, dying in your first episode is not a great way to start. Spoiler alert, if anyone hasn't gotten to my episode yet. If anyone has no clue who I am, I played Henry Winchester. Probably should start leading with that. Yeah, look, it's the most fun TV show I've ever worked on, hands down. I mean, just awesome, an awesome experience. The nicest cast and crew I've ever worked with on a TV show. The only other experience I would have to compare it to, I was lucky enough to be in 2 seasons of ER. I played a doctor, Dr. Paul Grady, on the last 2 seasons of ER, and it was like, I felt like I was a part of something really special, and they did all these extra things outside of working on the show, like they would have Christmas parties, and just, I don't know, everybody would get together all the time, and it felt very much like being part of this family. And a lot of the crew, there were 15 seasons of ER, which Supernatural may do as well. A lot of that crew had been together since the pilot, so it was fun to get to be a part of that. So the reason I bring that up is working on, even just doing 2 episodes of Supernatural, I kind of felt like I was a part of the family, yeah. And I probably didn't realize it at the time, but that's Jared and Jensen. I mean, I think they set the tone, It starts at the top and then everybody else, they set the tone and the rest of the cast and the crew kind of, goes with it. It's like such a fun working environment, and they really are 2 of the luckiest guys I know as far as acting goes. I mean, to get to land that show and to be on this ride that they've been on, it's really, really special. I mean, not many actors get to experience it, so I'm just so grateful to get, a piece of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
Hello. I know it's been a couple of years, but I was wondering what it was like on Party Monsters that you guys did. That kind of didn't go anywhere, but I mean, the stuff we saw was cool.
Oh, you saw some of it?
Yeah.
Did you back the Kickstarter on that one? Yeah, it was fun to work on. So, for those of you that don't know what she's talking about, Party Monsters was I believe Chad Lindbergh did a Kickstarter with a friend of his named Tyler Requa, who's a writer and director, and so they did a Kickstarter, and a lot of you backed it, and it's called Party Monsters. And then Chad came to me and asked me if I would be in it, and he sent the script to me, and I was like, absolutely, it sounds like a lot of fun. So we shot this pilot about 1.5 years ago now, I think, and it's not totally dead, but I don't know where they're at in the process. It's really hard to sell. It's really hard to sell something, I mean, to be honest with you. The premise of Party Monsters is great. It's a great idea. We shot the pilot, I think, in like 3 days, and which is not much time to shoot, 45-minute pilot. But it's basically like, the way I describe it is, it's like Entourage meets Penny Dreadful. So, but it's more like Entourage. It's kind of like silly and crass and fun, but it's 4 guys who live present day in a castle in the Hollywood Hills, and the 4 guys are Dr. Jekyll, which Chad Lindbergh played, and also Mr. Hyde, and Dorian Gray, Frankenstein, and the Phantom of the Opera. So I played the Phantom, and it's fun. I mean, it's not serious at all, but like, the Phantom's just so moody and brooding all the time, and I had like 4 different masks that I would wear depending on the occasion or mood. But I'm just so in love with this girl named Christine, and I just want her to come over to the castle so I can play music with her. And but she's not into me, and she's like into my friend, and it's that kind of thing. But it was so fun to work on, and I got to play the piano a little bit and sing a little bit, and so we shot this pilot, and I know that it's close to being done, and now they're just trying to shop it around and trying to get someone to like want to make more of them. But you never know. I mean, it's like you see how hard these things are. I mean, Kings of Con. How great is Kings of Con? Like, I mean, that's one of the funniest things I've ever read in my entire life or ever gotten to be a part of. It's like, can we please find it a new home, because I would love to continue to get to play Chip. And to get to work with these guys. I mean, so fun, so fun. So we'll see. Thank you for backing it and asking about it.
Does something.
Yeah, I hope that they can do something with it, because I think it is a special idea. It's just, I saw kind of a rough cut of the pilot, and yeah, it's a little rough. But that's what happens when you try to shoot something in 3 days for I think $50,000, which is a lot of money. But when you're shooting like a TV pilot, that's not much money, unfortunately. But everybody worked really hard on it, and hopefully it still has life.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey.
Hi. I wanted to know your most ridiculous story from backstage.
Most ridiculous story from backstage? Oh man. That's one I need to think on. There's been a lot of, this has been a really fun few years for me. I mean, I have not, thank God for this thing, because I have not laughed this hard in a long time. Some of the funniest people I've ever met, Richard Speight and Rob Benedict, 2 of the funniest guys I've ever met. We all have fun. We all have fun backstage. I mean, I guess I would, I'd have to say some of the costumes that we've worn at karaoke can get pretty ridiculous. Yeah, I found myself wearing like a red, like, unitard. What is it called? Yeah, strongman, unitard. Yeah, the strongman, the red spandex thing. Found myself wearing that out on stage one night. It's like, this is a terrible decision. I don't know who talked me into this. Good thing nobody's recording. Good thing cameras aren't allowed. Wow, I don't know. I'm sure there's some story that's going to come to mind. There's one that Richard actually loves to tell. Karaoke one night, I think it was Denver, 2015. Ozzy Chow came out dressed as Big Hero 6. And I'll let Richard tell it, but I got a little, I don't know, I danced a little aggressively with Osric in his costume. That's all I'm gonna say. I might have popped the costume. He had like this inflatable Big Hero 6 costume on, and you know Osric loves to cosplay. He was so excited for this one, and it lasted maybe 30 seconds. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see if Richard might want to tell that story. He likes to tell it. Yeah, karaoke's, that's where a lot of these stories happen, so you guys gonna come tonight or what? This is a good karaoke stage. I feel like some trouble could happen up here. We'll do our best to behave ourselves. Yeah, we have fun. I don't know that I can tell a lot of the stories. Thank you. Hey
Gil.
What's up? What's your name?
Sammy. We met at Chicago.
I remember you.
Yeah, yeah. So getting back to the karaoke part, I just want to know, it's a two-part, what is your go-to karaoke song, and what's a karaoke song that you would never, ever, under any circumstances sing?
Wow. That I would never, ever, under any circumstances sing?
Yep.
Would be Let It Go from Frozen. Never, under any circumstance. And then I've got a couple go-to songs that I've done, and I'm trying to come up with some new ones just to keep things fresh. But there's a song by Billy Vera and the Beaters. Do you guys know who Billy Vera and the Beaters is? Few of you do. And it's like, what did you think I would do in this moment when you're standing before me with tears in your eyes? I like that one. That's one of my go-tos. That's I think I actually sang that song. That was at one of my first conventions ever. I think it was at maybe my second convention. It was before the Saturday Night Special became the Saturday Night Special. When I first started doing these shows, it was just called like the Cabaret, or like it was like a talent show kind of thing. It's evolved quite a bit. The first time I sang for you guys, I did a couple times actually, was with a background track. First time I was in DC, I had a background track for John Legend, All of Me, which I still think is the most viewed video of me on YouTube. Not that I checked that sort of thing. Somebody told me, I don't know, they could be wrong. But then I sang At This Moment, which was that Billy Vera and the Beaters song. I sang that and something else, I think, was it Sam Smith? I think I did Sam Smith with the band though, didn't I? Yeah. I did that Billy Vera and the Beaters song with a background track, and I remember I was like, it's kind of like nerve-wracking to sing with the background track, because if you screw up, there's really nothing you can do. I mean, it's like you better know that track really well to get back on. But I remember being like kind of nervous. It was only my second show, and I sang that song, and it was going really great, and I was almost to the end, and then all of a sudden Misha like came out. I was like dancing around the stage and like hugged my legs, and I was like trying to hit a high note. So weird. So weird. Anyway, he hasn't done that since. So good to see you, Sammy.
Yeah, thanks, Gil.
Hey, buddy. I'll see you later. Hey.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name's Maddie.
Hey, Maddie.
Hi. I was wondering what the highest note that you can hit is.
The highest note I can hit? Well, I'm not going to try, because that sounds like a recipe for disaster. That's a good question. You know, Are you a singer?
I sing, but I'm not very good at it.
Well, if any of you know the musical scale, I would say like, I mean, falsetto is a different story. I can get up there with falsetto, but like I would say probably my highest like belt would be maybe an A on a good day, A flat, high A flat. Other than that, I don't know. I've worked over the years. I've kind of worked on developing like a high like head falsetto mix where I can on a good day I can get up there and float it around. Right, Robbie?
That's right, Gil. Real high range, Gilly.
Why'd you guys change shirts?
Your shorts.
You changed shirts because of my shorts?
Yeah.
You told us to.
You didn't have to say it. Your knees spoke volumes.
We went backstage after you said it was the wrong ending. We cried. We had a little bit of a cry.
Did the fans vote on who wore it best?
No, but I wouldn't have won that anyway, so that wouldn't be a shocking loss.
The band voted.
I put on the gear as a way of saying, see, you can also wear it if you look like this. An alternate frame.
Red shirt.
Oh, red.
Alternate frame.
Hashtag who gives a crap. Anyway, how was your very first panel in Hawaii? How did it go?
Was I the first?
You were the first.
Oh, man.
It was such a delight.
I wish I would have known.
Now listen, this guy's going to be on stage. Are you coming tonight? Are you part of the karaoke thing tonight?
Richard.
You are. Great. You know what he's going to say? He's going, Richard, I am contractually obligated to be here. I will be here. That, and then tomorrow night, this man who has a Broadway level singing voice will be singing with this band on stage. If you don't have his album, how was I to know? Are you selling that here at the show? Are you selling your album here?
Yes, I still got to figure out when that's going to be happening. But probably tomorrow, later in the day, or Sunday. I'm not sure.
It's a chart-topping record, and it's awesome, man. So
thank you very much.
Get yourself. It was a pleasure to say aloha to you earlier, but now we must say aloha to you.
Oh, I
know.
Right.
Can't wait to beat that dead horse, ladies and gentlemen.
Aloha,
Gil McKinney. I gotta say, he had a great voice. Him turning around and doing that in those shorts and those shoes, I suddenly felt like he was the bad guy in Tough Turf in 1984. Like I just feel like he just seems like he's playing the jerk in like a John Hughes movie.
I got the feeling he was selling Hawaiian real estate.
By the
We
way,
had a different vision.
which is usually a jerk in John Hughes movie. Much the same.